This question it's not too bad actually, just a sort of tree diagram problem, so you have to make sure you've understood carefully, so take your time to read the question and understand it before you put pen to paper, and definitely make sure you read that paragraph again once you've done part A. You've got 3 tins of beans, 2 tins of pears, and he's opening the lid, so this is selection without replacement, because you can't replace an opened tin back into the original set. So your tree diagram is going to look like this. The reason it looks like that is because we start off, if we open a beans, we might then open a pear or a beans, but if we open a pear, then we stop because we got one of each. If we open another beans, then again it could be beans or pears. If we open a pear, then we stop because we've got at least one of each. If we open a third tin of beans, we've got no choice, but the next one is going to be pears. And similarly down here, if the first one is pears, the second one could be beans or pears, but if we choose beans, then we stop. If we choose a second pear, the third tin must have to be beans because we've run out of pears. And then you can stick all of the probabilities on. First ones are out of 5, second set are out of 4, third set are out of 3. We can put 1 there or 3/3, and the last one will be 2 halves or just 1 here. So that's your answer to part A. Now I've done that in about 30 seconds, but you've got 3 minutes to get that right. So use your time and make sure you do it correctly. Part B, the probability that he opens exactly 3 tins, well, that means we have to either go beans, beans, pears, because we have to stop after 3, or we go pears, pears, beans, and we stop after 3. We don't stop after any fewer than 3. So it's the probability that it's BBP or PPB. Add those together because it's OR, and if you just work out the numbers, you get 3/10. Now part C, it's given, there's that key word, given. It's given that the last tin Mr. Jones opens is a tin of pears. Find the probability he opens 3 tins. Well, invoke the formula. It's in the formula book. The given formula, I call it. A given B. Well, what have we been given? We've been given that the last tin is pears. So it's the probability that he opens 3 tins, or exactly 3 tins, given that the last is pears. Now, if you start feeding that into the formula, the numerator here is the probability that both of those 2 things happen, that the last tin is pears and we open 3 tins. Well, the only way that that can happen is if it's BBP. Exactly 3 tins. Look, we've already seen what happens if we have 3 tins. It's either BBP or PPB. But if we want 3 tins and the last is pears, then it has to be just BBP. Now your denominator here is the probability of the given thing happening. So the probability that the last is pears. So you need all the different ways of getting the last tin being pears. Well, those are BP or BBP or BBBP. There's no other way of doing it. That's the lot. And you just use your tree diagram now to work out the values. And I haven't done the calculations here, but you should end up with 1/3.